What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global here, back with another video, and in this one, I want to talk about the Patriots finally signing a cornerback. Now, this isn't going to be the Patriots' #1 option, but we will get into all of that in today's video. Make sure you guys do leave a big like on this video. It really helps me and the channel out and the YouTube algorithm with this channel becoming more successful and helping other Patriots fans find the channel. What else could really help me out if you guys let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel about this move, along with maybe sharing this video, sharing the channel with a couple of friends, family members, social media, anything to help get the word out there. Much love to each and every single one of you who continue to support the channel. But without further ado, the Patriots, like I mentioned, finally signed a cornerback. This time it's going to be in Terrance Mitchell. Now, this deal is really next to nothing. They're giving him a one-year deal worth about $3 million. So he's going to be a guy that comes in here year one and is at least going to serve as some depth for the 2022 season. And hopefully in 2023, the Patriots can kind of figure out this secondary issues more, and somebody like Terrance Mitchell won't have to necessarily be someone that you have to rely on within this defense. Now, obviously, with a one-year, $3 million contract, you can kind of tell this guy didn't have much of a market. This isn't a move that is going to give you your #1 cornerback. This is not going to be a J.C. Jackson. This is not going to replace J.C. Jackson. This isn't going to be a Stephon Gilmore. This is not a big-name signing, but what it is going to do is it's going to improve the overall depth at the cornerback position, which the Patriots desperately need. Now, Mitchell is going to bring depth at the perimeter for the Patriots at cornerback, which is essentially exactly what they needed. If you look at the Patriots depth chart with outside cornerbacks, you have Jalen Mills, now Terrance Mitchell, Juwan Williams, Shaun Wade, and Justin Bethel. If you look at slot cornerbacks, you have Jonathan Jones, Miles Bryant, and Joshua Bledsoe. Slot cornerback, really not an issue at all. It is really perimeter, the outside cornerbacks, that the Patriots really need help with. With Terrance Mitchell, the Patriots are also getting a veteran at a position of need. So I really do like that route. Now, obviously, there's a lot of routes the Patriots could go to bring in veteran defensive backs. But I am happy that at least with Terrance Mitchell, they did decide to do that. The Patriots are looking like they're trying to get younger on defense, but you do still need veteran leadership, veteran presence along not just a defense, but also offense. And Terrance Mitchell is going to be a guy that was drafted all the way back in 2014. So he has been in the league for quite a while. He's been with a couple of different teams, but he was selected originally by the Dallas Cowboys in the 7th round. Now, like I mentioned, he's been with several teams since he originally joined the league in 2014. He's played with Dallas, he's played with Chicago, he's played with the Kansas City Chiefs, he's played with Cleveland, and more recently, in 2021, he played with Houston. Now, Mitchell definitely doesn't exactly fit the bill of your classic Bill Belichick cornerback. Belichick usually likes large corner, perimeter cornerbacks who are mainly man-heavy corners. With Terrance Mitchell, you're kind of getting the opposite of that. He's always excelled more in zone coverage. He's always played mainly in zone coverage when playing defense. And he's only going to be about 5'10", 5'11", so not going to give you that height that you would make ideal out of a perimeter corner. If this was any other season, if this was even last offseason, the season before that, the season prior to that, I wouldn't mind the signing. I would say this is a really good depth signing by the Patriots this offseason. Unfortunately, because the Patriots lost Stephon Gilmore, they lost J.C. Jackson, we are at a standpoint where you need to find your #1 cornerback. Even if J.C. Jackson came back, you still needed to bring in a valuable #2 guy. Jalen Mills was pretty good at #2, respectfully good, but you would look to hopefully upgrade at #2 and then press Jalen Mills down to CB3. Now, Jalen Mills is currently your starting corner. So while this is a great depth signing, the Patriots still need to find the guy that they can comfortably say can be their #1 guy. But with all these issues that are bound to happen with corner, that are bound to happen within the secondary, it wouldn't surprise me to see the Patriots play more zone coverage than what we are used to seeing, so that they don't really have to rely on several cornerbacks playing man-to-man and having a true set CB1. Now, the offseason is still young. Free agency is still young. The draft hasn't even occurred. There's a lot to still happen, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but Terrance Mitchell definitely is a guy that is not guaranteed a roster spot. Now, he definitely is more so on the inside looking out, just due to the fact that the Patriots really don't have much depth at corner. They need a lot of help at corner, so the chances of him actually making this roster are a lot better due to the depth the Patriots currently have, but he definitely is not guaranteed a roster spot. This is not a signing where you say, okay, Terrance Mitchell, you are going to be a real big piece for us, a starting piece for us in 2022. Now, in 2020, the Browns coaching or defensive back coach went out and actually had high praise for Terrance Mitchell. He said he's a very coachable player. He's a smart player. In the offseason, he really stood out. We would end up quizzing them pretty much daily, and he was one of the leaders of the group. He's an intelligent player. He's taken things that he's learned during the offseason and really applied it. So again, this really just sounds like your classic Bill Belichick off-season low-key signing. Now, in total, Mitchell has appeared in 83 regular season games as well as 4 playoff games. So not only does he have regular season experience, but he also has postseason experience, which Belichick definitely puts into account. Now, the Patriots are also very familiar with him. He picked off 8 passes and forced 9 fumbles. One of those was against the Patriots last year in Damian Harris. This also makes sense because he has ties back to New England. Not only does, Bill Belichick and this coaching staff have experience playing against Terrance Mitchell, and Terrance Mitchell actually making plays against this team, which Belichick always seems to go after those guys in free agency, the guys that actually made plays against him. But Elliott Wolf also has connections to Terrance Mitchell also, because Elliott Wolf actually spent 2018 and 2019 with the Cleveland Browns and served as their assistant general manager. So he was part of the club that was able to acquire Terrance Mitchell. Now, luckily for the Patriots, too, this is not going to impact the comp picks formula whatsoever. For those who do not know kind of how this whole thing works, early on in free agency, if big players are getting signed from your team, the following year you'll end up getting draft picks. The Patriots are expected to get at least 2 with J.C. Jackson and Ted Karras. But if the Patriots go out, they sign players to big contracts that will kind of offset the comp picks, meaning that they won't get one for J.C. Jackson or won't get one for Ted Karras. In this case, it will not impact that, which is also potentially why the Patriots aren't making any big moves right now. Once that whole comp pick formula does not serve a purpose anymore, that will be within a few days, about a week, then I could see Belichick making some bigger moves. Overall, is this going to be the type of addition that makes you comfortable with the cornerback group? No, but the Patriots desperately need multiple additions within the secondary, especially at cornerback, and they finally add one, and they add a veteran at that, so you can't hate the move, although again, this is not going to be the end-all, be-all. This is not a big signing. But what are your guys' thoughts on this signing? I want to know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Like always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and as always, go Pats.
In Astroworld.